Welcome to Mr. English Cafe. Picture this, you're stuck in traffic, you're late for a meeting, and someone cuts you off. A year ago, you would have spent the next 3 hours fuming, ruining your whole morning. But today, you just took a deep breath and kept driving. You didn't let their chaos become your chaos. According to recent psychological studies, nearly 70% of our daily stress comes from reacting to things we cannot control. So, let me ask you, are you still a prisoner to your first impulse, or are you finally starting to own your peace? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm Joe, and I am so glad you're here with me today. Whether you're on your morning walk or doing the dishes, I want you to take a second to just be present. Today, we are diving deep into emotional maturity. We aren't talking about getting older, we're talking about growing up on the inside. If you find today's episode helpful, please hit that subscribe button and give us a like. It really helps this community grow, and I want to keep bringing these heart-to-heart chats to you every week. Emotional maturity isn't a destination, it's a journey. Let's look at 5 signs that show you are becoming a much stronger version of yourself. 1. You pause before you react. Think about a time a friend said something that hurt your feelings. Usually, we want to snap back with something mean, right? But now, you've started to pause. That 3-second gap is where your strength lives. You're choosing your words instead of letting your emotions leak all over the room. 2. You stopped seeking external validation. Remember when you couldn't buy a pair of shoes without asking 3 friends if they looked good? A sign of growth is when I like this becomes more important than do they like this. You're finally starting to trust your own gut. 3. You set boundaries without feeling guilty. This is a big one. Maybe your boss asks you to work late for the 5th time this week, or a family member is draining your energy. Before, you'd say yes and feel resentful. Now, you can say, I'm sorry, I can't do that today, and you don't spend the rest of the night apologizing for existing. 4. You can say, I was wrong. Weak people never make mistakes, or at least, they never admit to them. A strong, emotionally mature person can look someone in the eye and say, I messed up. I'm sorry, real-life example. Think of a partner or a parent. When they admit a mistake, do you think less of them? No, you respect them more. 5. You embrace the gray area. When we are immature, we think things are either all good or all bad, but growth is realizing that people can be good and still make bad choices. Life isn't black and white. It's a million shades of gray. You've stopped judging people so harshly because you realize you're human. 2. I want to spend some real time on our first quote today because the man behind it is incredible. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Viktor Frankl. Now, who was Viktor Frankl? He was a psychiatrist who was held in Nazi concentration camps during World War II. He lost almost everything: his family, his freedom, his dignity. But he realized something powerful. The guards could take his clothes and his food, but they couldn't take his freedom to choose his attitude. Let's look at a real-life example. Imagine you get an email from a coworker that feels very rude. The stimulus is the email. The response is you typing an angry reply. The space is that moment your fingers hover over the keyboard. If you have emotional maturity, you grow that space, you wait. You realize the coworker might just be having a bad day. In that space, you choose to be the bigger person, you choose peace over war. Our second quote is equally deep. Maturity is when you learn to be right without having to prove the other person wrong. Think about a holiday dinner with family. Someone says something factually wrong about a movie or a news story. The old you would argue for 20 minutes to prove you are right. The mature you realizes that winning the argument might lose the connection. You smile, you know the truth in your heart, and you let it go. That is true strength. If you want to grow these emotional muscles, here are 3 ways to do it deeply. 1. Practice the 10-second rule, the biological break. When we get angry, our brains go into fight or flight mode. It is literally hard to think clearly. By counting to 10, you give your brain time to move the energy from your emotional center to your logical center. It's not just about being polite, it's about giving your human brain a chance to catch up with your animal brain. 2. Journal your triggers, the map of the heart. Most of us get angry at the same things over and over. Maybe you hate being ignored, or you hate being rushed. Write these down. When you know your triggers, they lose their power over you. It's like knowing where the holes are in the road so you don't fall in them every morning. 3. Ask for mirror feedback. This is the hardest one. Find someone you love and trust. Ask them, when I'm stressed, how do I act? Don't get defensive when they answer. If they say you get cold or loud, just listen. This is like looking in a mirror for your soul. You can't fix what you can't see. To wrap it all up, becoming a stronger version of yourself isn't about being perfect, it's about being aware. It's about choosing peace over being right and choosing growth over being comfortable. Remember, you are not your emotions, you are the person experiencing them. Thank you so much for spending these 9 minutes with me. We talked about pausing, boundaries, and the power of admitting when we are wrong. Before you go, I want to leave you with a deep question. Which part of your life are you still reacting to like your old self, and what is one small thing you can do to change that tomorrow? Let me know your thoughts in the comments or via message. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps me keep the lights on and the heart open. Stay strong, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining us. In this podcast, you've learned the following. Let's read aloud. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Maturity is when you learn to be right without having to prove the other person wrong. Maturity is when you learn to be right without having to prove the other person wrong. Feel free to read it aloud. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment below.